Okay, I'm back. Part 2. So, in this video, I'm going to read to you a part of this journal that I wrote after I'd lost the portion of my weight. This is basically my life circumstances that led up to me getting gastric bypass. I know everyone arrives at that decision in a different way, and mine was pretty unique. I know you guys who've watched my journey know that I have a connection with The Biggest Loser, that it was a big part of what inspired me to lose the weight, and that I'd applied to be on the show. But I wrote this I actually wrote this in response to a casting director who had called me after I'd lost my weight, after I'd had the weight loss surgery, because I had applied for a previous season, and she wanted me to apply again because she was reasonably confident that she could get me on the show. Too little, too late, right? So anyway, I'm just going to read this to you, and I'd forgotten about it, and I found it. This is like in a recipe book that I write recipes in. I jotted it down one afternoon. Anyway, I wrote this. I think my son's coming home. Anyway, I wrote this for the casting producer. I said, I need to take a moment and rewind the tape here and tell you my background and revised story. At nearly 300 pounds, I was in a very dark place. I'd spent over a decade inside of a body that refused to let me be a participant in my own life. I'd tried all the fad diets. I'd swallowed it, rubbed it in, worked out on it, gone to the meetings, you name it. I had already purchased it and had minimal success with losing weight and zero success with keeping it off. I'd basically come to the resolve that this was me. I had little hope left. I remember sitting on my couch as the confetti of season 5. My son's home. As the confetti of season 5 rained down on Ellie Vincent. Tears streamed down my face as I sat there trying to fill the void with buttery microwave popcorn. I envied her ripped arms and flat stomach. But most of all, I envied her smile. She'd found joy in her life again. I felt like I knew her because I'd been with her throughout the journey. Having identified with her at her largest, I felt like I was her. And to now see her as fit, healthy, and skinny, standing on that platform, made me see myself in that same light for the very first time ever. I had hope that I could do this. I launched myself into a feverish campaign. I had to get on that show. This was my ticket to health. I spent countless hours brainstorming, filming, and editing my audition tape. I bared every last fat, ugly secret that I had to show casting producers the real me. I involved my friends and family, who were all shocked to find out just how miserable my weight had made me. Apparently, I'd hid the torture well. In my best attempt to catch the eye of The Biggest Loser execs, I had concocted a genius attention getter. In the opening scene of my video, I'm standing on a beach in my bathrobe, introducing myself. My trembling hands are gripping tightly to the front of the robe to keep the fabric shut. Suddenly, the robe falls to the sand as I turn and bolt for the water. This was a nude beach, and what the camera angle didn't show was that the sand was full of beachgoers watching and cheering me on. We had to shoot that scene 3 times, and I was terrified for the first 2. On the 3rd, a fire was lit within me, and it was then that I realized that if I could do this, I could do anything. Biggest Loser, here I come. That's what I thought. After coming close to being cast, and even a second video audition for the following season, I'd again hit an all-time low. I felt like my only chance at health and happiness was slipping through my fingers, and I was going to have to do this myself. I had to face my severe addiction to food. I needed help in a major way, and I was finally ready to do this. I was so scared of starting yet another diet because I'd already dieted my way up to 299 pounds, and I refused to gain that one more that would tip the scales into the 300s. I was terrified. Before the distraction of applying for The Biggest Loser, I had started researching the possibility of weight loss surgery as an option. Although in the back of my mind, I sort of knew it was really more of a fantasy than a reality, because financially, it just was not possible. I was a single mom at the time, living paycheck to paycheck, and even though I had good health insurance, it was excluded on my policy. What I didn't know was that my complete display of desperation to get on The Biggest Loser had caught the attention of my parents, who had been getting the funds together to make the surgery happen for me if I didn't make it on the show. I'm going to try to get through this. They presented their proposition over a table of Mexican food one evening while they were visiting the small town that I live in. That wasn't the first time I'd cried over a plate of nachos. I gratuitously accepted their offer, and we began to plan my escape from obesity. My father and I attended a local weight loss surgery seminar, mostly to educate him on what I would go through. I had already researched all the gory details right here on YouTube. One thing I discovered about myself during the Biggest Loser application process was that I loved to be on camera. I loved to make videos, and I loved the kind of truth that you can expose when you talk straight to the camera. I began making a video blog and posting them to YouTube. I thought it would be great to document my thoughts and physical changes as I shrunk. 190 plus videos later, I still upload at least one video per week. I've been a diehard BL fan since the first episode of season 1. There's just something so raw and organic about the contestants when they arrive at the ranch. It's not a game show. It's not just a reality show. Every one of those participants would still be there, even if they were not promised cash or any prizes. I know, because I would have been. I had my gastric bypass on April 3rd of 2009. Since then, I've lost 131 pounds and still counting. Even after I had my surgery, I still had fantasies of being on The Biggest Loser, even though I knew that opportunity had passed. I had made my choice. My weight came off at virtually an identical pace to what the contestants do at the ranch. I followed my surgeon's guidelines for eating and exercising every day. I weighed in once a week with Biggest Loser music playing in my head as I walked to the scale. None of those pounds were handed to me. This is a major misconception surrounding WLS, that we don't have to work for it. My smaller stomach pouch is a tool. If I choose not to use it, I won't lose any weight. And as we learned from a former Biggest Loser contestant, you can gain the weight back. Some people use pills, some people use Weight Watchers or Nutrisystem, some lucky ones use Biggest Loser. I use gastric bypass to get me where I needed to be. Today, I can eat virtually anything I want. I can't read what I wrote here. Which is more of a curse than a blessing. The tiny pouch the surgeon created only lasts for so long. It's the body's natural design to want to regrow and repair itself over time, which means new healthy habits need to be firmly in place before that happens. Biggest Loser inspires me every day to continue to make healthy choices and move my body more. I can't even begin to tell you the significance of being able to be involved with the filming of episode 1 of season 10. It was completely surreal, to say the least. I own the Wii game and all the books, but nothing compares to meeting Bob in person and feeding off the energy of a crowd of such hopeful, enthusiastic people. I saw my old self in so many of their faces, and I felt so blessed to be able to tell them that you can make it through and come out on the other side if you want it bad enough to make it happen. I didn't talk about my weight loss surgery that day because I simply didn't feel it was the time or the place. When I looked into the eyes of Bruce, one of the largest men there, and so many of the others, I could see an almost childlike need to simply be inspired to do better, to be encouraged, to live healthier, and to make small changes towards the goal. Everyone can do those things, but not everyone can have weight loss surgery or be cast for The Biggest Loser. Weight loss surgery is not something you aspire to have. It's not a goal to be reached. For me, it was simply a last resort and a tool to help me reach my goals. As I ran that mile that day, with Bob, 3 potential contestants, and hundreds of people who held more hope and empowerment than they had the day before. I realized my journey had come full circle. The void that I tried to fill for so long with food was overflowing with strength and purpose. I was in the very place that I'd only dreamed I'd ever be, for I did, in fact, make it on The Biggest Loser. And I ran every step of that mile that day in a new body whose limits are endless. Thank you, Biggest Loser. So that's my inspiration story. That's what got me here, and that's what's keeping me going. And I forgot completely that I'd written this. And my challenge for you guys this week is to make a video, write a story, share your inspiration with me. What inspired you to lose the weight? What got you here? I want to know, and I think it would inspire others to do the same. So I gotta go. The dogs are barking again, so I think my son must be here now. Anyway, drink your water, work out. I'm gonna go take a shower. Love you guys. Thanks for your support. Bye.